as your mind becomes quiet, all the verbal teachings, what they're pointing to, what the verbal teachings are indicating, what they're pointing to, through your mind becoming quiet, it is realized non-verbally what the verbal teachings are pointing to. The verbal teachings can be really useful because they can orientate the mind, which is the ego. And when the mind quietens down, there can be a recognition of that which was described. That recognition is also ego, by the way, but it's still useful. But as our mind becomes quiet, then these metaphors, like probably many of you have heard the metaphor of the movie and the screen. The movie and the screen. The life that we think we have and lead is the film, the movie. And we are a character in the movie, or we think we are. But actually, as our mind quietens, it can become clear that what we are is this formlessness, this spirit, this aware presence in which all name and form appears. And the movie and the screen are one. If you reach out and touch the movie, you'll touch the screen. And you can't find any movie apart from the screen. They're one substance. You can say the substance on the material basis of the movie is the screen, this formless spirit, this awareness, this consciousness, this knowingness in which all arises and as which all arises. But they are not the same. Whilst they are one, they are not the same. The movie is not the same as the screen. So they are not two, but not the same, not one either, completely. Now this is fairly straightforward. It's not very difficult to understand that. Maybe if it's a new idea to you, you'll have to contemplate it, think about it. Ignorance could be defined as taking yourself to be a name or form on the movie, so a character in the movie. When the character is confused, you think you're confused. When the character thinks it knows what's going on, you think you know what's going on. But this is the illusion. What you really are is this formless no thing, non-objective thing. Non-objective because it's not a part of the movie, right? Everything that you can see and feel and perceive with your five senses is a part of the movie, whereas a screen is not a part of the movie. It's the underlying basis of the movie. So you can get a sense when the mind quietens down. This vision of what we call vision of non-duality comes into focus, we can say. And a lot of non-dual type teachings leave it there. But Ramana's teachings, the Advaita teachings, the true Advaita teachings go further. They say you need to discover what you truly are. You need to discover, otherwise it's just a theory. You see. That's a nice theory. You're the screen and life is a movie on the screen. That's a nice idea, a nice theory for the mind. It's a nice belief you can adopt. It might help you in some ways. But it's not. And you might be able to sort of see how that could be true in your daily experience. You might be able to map the theory of the movie and the screen to your experience. But it's still just a theory. You need to discover for yourself what you are. So once we have this understanding that all is one, Everything is an appearance of our consciousness. Then we no longer identify with name and form, any particular name and form, specifically the body-mind. And it's just being, and everything is appearing in being as being. Is everyone with me so far? Yeah? Slow, gentle nod to the head there. Not entirely convincing, but there you go. Okay, you're with me. I'll take it. I'll take it that you're with me. But then, to go deeper and deeper, not as a body-mind going deeper and deeper, but having had this vision of non-duality, that all is one. This appearance is an illusory appearance, a movie or a cartoon appearing within our consciousness, non-separate from our consciousness, but also non-identical with our consciousness. It means it's not separate from our consciousness, but it's not the same as our consciousness. Just as the movie is non-separate from the screen, but not the same as the screen. From this kind of understanding or perspective, we can let go, and discover what we are. Discover what we are is just a phrase. It's just putting something into words that you can't put into words. Because the mind will hear, oh, I've got to discover what I am. No, the mind cannot discover what you are. It's we let go of name and form, you turn the movie off. You turn the movie off and just the bright luminescence of the screen remains. Non-objective. The screen is non-objective. You cannot sense it with the five senses. It's your very being. So it's just known intuitively as your own being. Then it's discovered that this is your truth. This is the truth. This is the reality. And this is the basic path of the traditional teaching, the Advaita teaching. And you'll know that I recommend, one of the texts I recommend is Vivekachudamani, which is attributed to Shankara. Probably was written by Shankara. Some people think it was written by somebody else. It doesn't matter. It's a wonder. It doesn't matter who wrote it. We don't even know who wrote the Upanishads, for example. We don't know who wrote them, but they contain truth. And great sages down the ages have said this scripture contains the most profound of truths. Plus, when you read, if you study the scriptures, you see that all the teachings in it are also found in the Upanishads, in the revealed scriptures. But Vivekachudamani, and of course Ramana gives it his seal of approval. He translated the entire text and wrote an introduction to the text stating that it gives us the direct path. In Vivekachudamani, this teaching is unfolded, just as I've told you. More detail. Some technical terms are used, but this is the essence of the teaching. So to understand the movie screen analogy, but then to go beyond it and discover what you really are. Otherwise, it's just a plaything, a theory for the mind. And that's fine too, but it's not liberating. It's not liberating. See, as long as we identify with name and form, we are in Maya. If we just let go of identification to name and form, then that's liberation. Now, we can let go temporarily, but then the identification keeps on coming back. And that's why we need the sustained practice, just to remove the habitual tendency. So, allow the mind to become quieter. Notice how everything is just a movement in your consciousness, like a dream. Just as in a dream, everything's a movement in your consciousness. And relax, become still. Know yourself to be that which is aware. Don't take the body-mind to be a real, solid, external entity. but take all appearances to be modulations, movements of your own being, of your own innate knowingness, your consciousness. And slowly, slowly let go deeper and deeper until name and form also dissolve, and we're just left with the pure consciousness, pure meaning without name and form.